Hey guys, so today we're going to learn how to write equations or inequalities from word problems. So it's super easy, just pay close attention. You just have to read really carefully. So you're going to know how to write one variable equations or inequalities with variables on both sides of an equal sign. You're going to understand certain words or phrases that identify what an inequality symbol should be used in the real world scenario. You will be able to describe how to identify coefficients and constants when writing any equation or inequality. So those are an expectations for today. And this is a little flashback from last time's lesson, from last week. So we have our negative 12. If we have a number in front of a letter, that means that's my coefficient. And then I have my x, which is my variable. I have my 4, it's called a constant, and my 40 is also a constant. So a coefficient is always in front of a variable. So in front of my letter, that means they're multiplying each other. So you have something, a number next to a letter, that means they're multiplying. My constant is a fixed value or a number on its own. So my constant is my loner. So if this one's alone, this is alone, and they're only considered alone because they don't have a letter in front of them. And my variable is our unknown value, so I do not know what the answer for x is. So x, my variable, is what I'm trying to find. Okay, so it's just something I don't know. Okay, so now we have a word problem. So it's super long. We're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to read this. But if we don't read the problem and actually look at the steps and follow the steps and underline, highlight whatever needs to be done, we're gonna be given like 4 answer choices. So you're gonna have like 25% to guess which one is your correct answer. So before we can guess, we need to actually go through and read it and try to see if we can actually work it out on our own, which we will. So we're gonna read it first. So Sharonda started with $18 in her cash box for the concession stand and is selling small candy bars for 50 cents each. Henry started with $12 in his concession stand cash box and is selling a small bag of chips for 75 cents each. For what number of sales S will they both have the same amount in their cash boxes? Okay, so we have two people. I have Sharonda and Henry. My question said, what number of cells will they both have the same amount? So same amount tells me I'm working with an equal to sign. That means it's equal. Okay, and when they both have the same amount of cash. Okay, so now I'm gonna go identify what information is given for Sharonda and what information is given for Henry. So it tells me Sharonda started with $18 and is selling small candy bars for 50 cents each. Okay, so she starts with $18 and sells for 50 cents each. Okay, so if she's selling candy bars for 50 cents each, do I know how many candy bars she sold? No. So I'm going to be placing my variable here. And bear with me, this is going to be an ugly S. And it says my variable is an S, so 50 cents each. I don't know how many she sold, so I'm placing my variable. And then Henry, he started with $12 and he sold candy bars for 75 cents each. So each tells me this is my variable. Okay, and if you start with $18 and you are selling something, you're going to be adding money to your cash box. So she starts with $18. I start to sell, so I need to gain money. I'm making money. And I'm selling candy bars. I'm selling candy bars. My S is candy bars for 50 cents each. Henry, he starts with $12. He's also selling, so he's gonna gain some money. He's selling candy bars, my S, for 75 cents each. And if it says they're the same, I'm gonna put an equal to sign to it. Okay, so you start with some amount of money, you're selling, so I'm making money. And each candy bar costs 50 cents. Henry's, he started with $12 plus he's selling candy bars for 75 cents each. Okay, and that's it. You don't have to solve yet, but you do have to make sure you read through the problem and underline the important information, and so you can create your equations. Okay, next one. We have to read our problem once again prior to you being lazy and wanting to guess. Don't be lazy, please read it. It's not that hard. Okay, so Michaela and Julian went to the candy store and each spent the same amount of money to make party favor bags. Michaela bought a package of bags for $6.25 and 75 small pieces of candy. Julian bought a package of bags for $4.75 and 90 small pieces of candy. So how much does a small piece of candy cost? Is my question. So how much does a small piece of candy cost? So I want to know how much a small piece of candy costs. So that tells me I'm going to place my variable with that. The one that talks with candies is going to have my variable. Okay, so next step, identify Michaela's information and identify Julian's information. So she bought a package of bags for $6.25. So, So we have Michaela, Julian. We want to know the same, so I'm going to use my equal sign. She bought bags for $6.25 and 75 small pieces of candy. And again, my question said, how much does a small piece of candy cost? So my variable is going to go with my 75. And then Julian bought a package of bags for $4.75 and 90 small pieces of candy. So again, how much does a small piece of candy cost? My variable, and I'm just using C for candy, is going to be with my coefficient of 90. Okay, so I've identified my variable, right? Because my question said how much does a small piece of candy cost? How much does it cost? So I'm placing my variable with my candies, right? My 625 is talking about bags. So I could not place my letter with bags. I could not place my letter with bags, right? Bags is a whole different thing than a candy. Okay, so she bought 625 and so Anne tells me you bought that and something else. So you're gonna be adding money. You're gonna be paying more. So I have 625 plus 75 C pieces of candy. I don't know how much a piece of candy costs, right? I had 75 pieces. I want to know the cost. Okay, and Julian, he bought the bags for $4.75 plus 90 pieces of candy, and I don't know how much each piece of candy costs. And I need to know how much they cost so I can find how much is my total gonna be. So how much am I actually gonna pay? But you don't have to solve that yet. So she bought bags for $6.25 and she also bought 75 pieces of candy for we don't know how much money. Julian bought 475 bags for sorry. Julian bought bags for $4.75 plus 90 small pieces of candy times we don't know how much each candy costs. And that is it. So don't be lazy, read it, think about the things carefully. I mean, you might get lost like me sometimes, it's okay. But that's the easiest part, and here comes another easy part. The only difference is we're going to have to reach for keywords in order for us to use our inequality signs. So this is my less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So anytime you see these words, less than, below, under, fewer than, smaller than, shorter than, you will be using the less than symbol. Anytime you see in the word problem the following words, you will be using the greater than symbol, and so on. So you're gonna have to read carefully, and they're not always going to say same. So if it says the word same, you're gonna use the equal to symbol. But if it says any of the following words, you are gonna have to use that inequality symbol. Okay. So now we have our first step. Make sure you read the problem. So we're gonna read Netflix charges $8 to rent a movie. Then Disney Plus charges $4 to rent a movie after a membership fee of $10 is paid. For what number of movie rentals is Netflix less expensive than Disney Plus? Okay, so now I'm gonna find what is my information for Netflix. So Netflix charges, so we have our relationship. We're talking about Netflix and Disney Plus. Netflix charges $8 to rent a movie. Okay, so do I know how many movies I'm gonna rent yet? No. So that tells me that's where my variable is gonna be. So it says I'm gonna use M for movie rentals. So to rent a movie, M. And Disney Plus charges $4 to rent a movie after you pay a membership of $10. Okay, so I want to rent a movie. I don't know how many movies I'm gonna rent after a membership fee of $10 is paid. So if I have to pay $10, that tells me I'm gonna have to add to my charges, right? And then my question says Netflix has to be less expensive than Disney Plus. So I want Netflix to be cheaper than Disney Plus, right? Netflix is going to be less expensive. So my less has to point to Netflix than Disney Plus. Okay, so I want to know what is my variable and what does it represent? My variable is M, and it represents the number of movies that I rent. So the number of movies that I'm renting. So this says I'm renting a movie, so my 8 has an M, and also my $4 has an M because it's talking about movie rents. Okay, so I have what is my coefficient? So the coefficient is the one that goes with my variable. So I have 8M and 4M. And what is the constant and what does it represent? So my constant is going to represent my one-time membership fee. So it's something I'm paying one time, right? So $10 is my membership fee. So that represents my constant, which is something I'm only doing one time, not multiple times. I'm not going to have to pay $10 every time I want to rent a movie. No, you only pay for it that one time. Okay, so now I have to write my inequality, and it does say I want Netflix to be less expensive than Disney Plus. So I want Netflix to be cheaper than Disney Plus. Okay, so less than, there's my less than symbol. And now I'm gonna use my information for Netflix on the left side. So I have 8M, so it cost me $8 to rent one movie. And Disney Plus, it costs me $4 per movie. So if I want to rent one movie, I have to pay $4 for that movie plus $10 for my membership fee. And again, it has to be less than. So again, Netflix, I pay $8 per movie. Disney Plus, I pay $4 per movie plus my membership fee. Okay, or it could also be backwards. You could have Disney Plus on the left side and Netflix on the right side. As long as the smaller side is pointing Netflix, then your solution should be correct. Okay, so we have written our equation. It was really simple. You just have to read Use your markers, two different colors, underline them or write it. Color code, that helps me. I'm pretty sure it's going to help a lot of you and it will make your life easier. Okay. So now you're going to go to Schoology and you're going to work on the lesson that says, on the assignment that says match your equation. And that should be it. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Message me, email me, whatever you need to do. I am here to help you, so please do so. And once again and again, read the problems. Read, read, read. Don't be lazy. I know we see word problems and then we're like, ugh, you blank out and you just want to get through it. But come on, man. It's super easy. Don't be lazy. You got this. All right. Deuces.